Hello, I'm Dr. Jeff Kingsley, and welcome to another edition of Riding in Cars with Researchers. Today we're going to interview Dr. David Ramstad. Dr. Ramstad's been doing research for 15 years now?
15 years.
More than 15, really.
We probably started out slow 20 years ago.
And you've been accelerating the amount of research you've been doing over the last 7+.
Oh yeah, we do a lot more than we used to.
So, you're passionate about the role of the investigator in taking a primary role in identifying patients and talking with patients about research.
Yeah, I basically, I'm the one who brings the research topic up to the patient. I talk to them about the study, if they be a potentially good candidate for the study, and I answer any of the questions that they have.
Describe for me how you do it.
Well, it's usually during the study, if they ever come in just for a regular office visit, and there is potential they'd be a good candidate for the study, I'll say we have a study going on. It involves whatever lipids or high blood pressure, and they said, I think you'd be a good candidate for it, and it may help you with the disorder. And everything's free, no charge to you, and in fact, most of the studies you do get paid. And if they'd be interested, we'll actually sit down with them and go over the informed consent and the study in great detail. And hopefully soon we'll have our research coordinator to do a lot of that work.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll still be the one to bring it up to them.
Always,
yeah.
Or nearly always.
It's incredible how much more receptive they are to doing a study when the doctor sits there and brings it up, especially if they have confidence in the doctor.
Sure.
So if the doctor says, I think this would be a good study for you, they're much more likely to go ahead and do the study because the doctor said that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they already trust. They trust you. That's why you're their doctor.
Right. And clearly, hopefully none of us would put a patient in a study that we didn't feel was good for them.
Correct. And another thing that I've said to patients is, I would never do a study that I didn't believe in.
Yes.
So by if the patient is nervous about the study, I obviously think that this is a medically and scientifically sound thing, or I wouldn't have the study.
That's correct.
So most patients have no experience with research whatsoever. Well, they do have experience with healthcare. So healthcare isn't all that scary to patients because even when they were children, they went to pediatricians. They grew up in healthcare for the most part. But research is a foreign and scary concept.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? How do you teach?
Well, I just tell them it's all done here. We don't make things up. We don't just wing it on our own. The company will tell us exactly what to do, exactly the kind of patients, what the patients need to be included in the study, and we follow the protocol.
Yeah.
And I said, a lot of these studies are international studies, so what we're doing here in Suffolk, Virginia, is what a doctor's doing in Poland or Germany or in Australia.
Totally.
We all do the same thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing I always tell the patient, I said, this is very well supervised. There's regulatory bodies that look over her shoulder. The FDA, I said, the sponsor looks over her shoulder. There's people coming to monitor the study, and if there's anything that's not going well, they'll shut the study down. Plus, I also tell the patient that it's voluntary.
Yep.
So they don't have to do it. Even if they sign up and sign the informed consent and get started, they don't have to continue in the study. They can get out anytime they want just by saying, I don't want to do it anymore. And I tell them, you don't have to give me a reason. Just say, I don't want to do it anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And I said, you don't have to.
Yeah. I tell patients it's not like signing a mortgage. You sign a mortgage and then you go back to the bank and say, you know what, I changed my mind. You're on the hook for that mortgage. Research, you change your mind, you change your mind. We totally respect that.
Right. And the other thing I tell the patients is that they're signing an informed consent. It's not a contract. There is no contract.
Correct.
Because some patients will say, well, I guess I'm signing this contract. I said, there is no contract. This just tells you what the study's about and what's expected of you. I said, that's all it is. So it's just an informed consent. Don't let you know what you're getting into.
Right.
So I said, you can get out anytime you want.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'll say to patients, I want your intent. Your intent is to go all the way through this trial. Your intent is you're not planning on moving next year and that you want to see this through. But that doesn't, life changes. And if life changes, that's okay, we can pivot. why do you do research?
Oh, I think I really enjoy being on the cutting edge of medicine. I know more about certain products than the other doctors in the community. I know what's happening, and I enjoy it. The patients enjoys it. My staff enjoys it. It's nice going to the investigative meetings where you meet like-minded people who are interested in the cutting edge of medicine.
Agreed.
It really is very enjoyable, and then you can be part of publishing papers, which is kind of nice. I've been asked to do speaking engagements about certain topics. So you really have to have a passion. My passion is not as much as yours, but let me tell you, I really do enjoy it, and our patients enjoy it. They're very willing not only to do the first study, but to do subsequent studies.
I agree. Okay, well there you have it. Dr. David Ramstad. Physicians out there, investigators out there, stay involved, talk to your patients, be the primary person to talk to your patients, and teach. Patients aren't going to know. They're getting fed information about clinical research from lay press, media, Time magazine and newspapers, and they don't typically report on all of the wonderful things we do in research. So educate, teach. It will help patients understand research in a much different light than they will if you take a hands-off approach. And it's part of being an investigator, is to have that hands-on approach. So as always, thanks for riding along with us. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and I look forward to riding along with you again in the future. Take care.